So sticking with you, Paul, just for a little bit, right? And you
Yeah.
mentioned certifications a few times. I know there's been a lot of debate about this, right? Which is, and clearly, I mean, if I were in a hiring manager's position, I mean, certification actually gives, to some degree, a level of legitimacy, so I can actually go above and beyond. On the flip side, it actually unfairly targets people who either aren't able to afford that, or like you're saying, hey, maybe they're doing two jobs. And in fact, I'm trying to get a couple of cooks who have moved into cybersecurity, right? So imagine being a cook in the kitchen and that kind of job, and try to get certifications on the side, and where you have financial challenges as well as time challenges, right? So I think that the question to you is, okay, number one, certifications, how important are they, both number one in terms of trying to crack into a role, number two in terms of actually being effective at that role, and on the flip side of the question is, how do you evaluate people fairly, especially if you're looking at a diverse candidate pool that may not have the ability to even get to a certification?
I am a big certification person. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, I have a ton. But all certifications do is proof of knowledge you have. It's not proof of application of that knowledge. And so if I see someone who doesn't have a whole lot of certs, but they are either really passionate or they're doing, they've built their own home labs, they're going up to try HackMe, doing the free versions, they're trying, that is somebody that I'm going to want more than somebody who has a lot of certs, who's a very good test taker, and that's all they're doing. Because again, all certifications, even degrees, college degrees. I just finished up my second bachelor's, and I got it in cybersecurity. It's just proof of knowledge that you know either how to take a test or how to have that knowledge. Doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to apply it. Now, I work in the DoD space, so my situation is a little different.
Yeah.
If people who are watching this podcast, I'm sure you guys have heard it as well, of the 8570, of requiring certain certifications for certain positions. Is it unfortunate? Yes. Is it the world we live in the DoD space? Yes. There are contracts written to where you can't get a job with certain companies unless you have that. Now, in the public sector, it's different. And so it just kind of depends on the companies you want to go for, to where you can come up to them, and like for Brian, being able to have these podcasts and being able to do all these different things and have these labs, because someone who's wanting to get into cybersecurity, like I mentioned before, it's not just all pen testing. To be able to write papers, to be able to get in front of people and talk, to be able to get in front of a camera and talk. There are some people, the quintessential geek doesn't like getting in front of people, but to be having that experience, and then the effectiveness of certifications or degrees, it depends on the person. It kind of just all goes back to it's knowledge, it's proof of knowledge, it's proof that, yeah, I can get the little piece of paper that says I'm done, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to apply it. And that's hiring managers and team leads, they kind of play a little bit of lottery, trying to figure out, okay, this person has a lot, but are they going to be any good? And then sometimes you don't know until they get in. But for the person who's trying to get in, it does show initiative for sure.
Yeah, great perspective. I know, Leah, you have a lot to add to this. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's it is interesting when you think about all the requirements and who is looking at that versus who's not, right? And there are definitely more people I do talk to in hiring manager positions, C-suite, that are now saying not so much about stackable certificates, but stackable competencies, which I think is great. And I think, to Paul's point, you only learn so much foundationally, conceptually in school, right? Or through taking some of the exams and courses for the certification. So, and it just got me thinking on, a lot of organizations we work with, where they ask us to help them with candidates, right? And pre-assess, pre-qualify them. I almost wonder what if it exists now, or if we should start to factor this in assessing and qualifying candidates for job roles in cyber, maybe a hands-on test, right? Put them through an actual simulator of some sort, specific to that role, to see if they can perform that responsibility, that duty, that would be part of what the position that they're going into. does that exist? Should it exist, right? Is that a better way to qualify other than just looking at the resumes and looking for everything else in soft skills? Because that's the biggest piece that we still hear from employers is, I want the hands-on experience. But then to Paul's point or Brian's, in class, you're not always getting that. And so, and if you don't have time or the budget to go do all these extra things, then that first hands-on you get would be in a job role, or if it was more of that was part of the assessment and there could be more focus on that, and then support to help students or those that are trying to get in to have more access to and more affordable ways to have the hands-on experience. I think that would bode well and better. And then certificates, again, that's great. I think it can help with knowledge, and some companies will require it, and depending on the sector, but we need to do a much better job, I feel, as an industry in helping to build up the competencies and giving that hands-on experience than just focusing on certificates.
Okay, so Brian, you're on the hot seat right now, right? So talk a little bit about how you're going about. I know you're doing a lot, but how do you balance your time between going and finding the proof that Leah and Paul were talking about versus actually getting hands-on experience?
Well, right now I do a variety of different things to kind of build up myself and get prepped for ultimately working in the workforce. So I am finishing up my degree in IT and networking. I'm taking a boot camp which is specific to cybersecurity, independent studies for cloud computing and cloud security. And I also intern with CFF to gain the experience with not only the cybersecurity world, but the work life as well. So I'm juggling a lot personally, but there's so much within the cybersecurity curriculum and knowledge that you have to gain before you could enter it. And not all of the things that the school provides will be what you experience in a day-to-day workspace. So programs like Splunk might not be available to students, or Azure Labs. You have to find ways to get those resources. And like Paul said, there's a variety of different resources out there, but you just have to go and look for them because no one's going to hand you them. You have to kind of take a moment and figure out what you want to do and try your best to be well-rounded within that specific area in cybersecurity.